Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys checking me out. I'm doing another part 2 on this stuff intake for the 460. I don't know if you guys had a very good look last time. I told you guys I had more to do to it. So I wanted to explain more what I'm doing to it, even though I was almost pretty well finished up with it. But what I'm going to do, fellas, I'm going to level this back, contour all this stuff here in. It kind of goes back here, it lays back, and has a high spot here. So I'm going to blend all this in. Up here you can see like where there's a shadow, that's where it goes lower. So I don't really need to cut back too much into here, but I'm more concerned about leveling this in. You can see how it kind of squares off here. It goes up. I don't want that. I want to give it a nice swoop. Blend it all in. I want to blend it into the side wall here. And that's what I'm up to, fellas. I'm going to swoop all this in. I like the air to have a nice, smooth transfer when it comes into the plenum. That's what I believe in. And air doesn't like to turn, so you look at it this way, fellas. It has enough turning to do once it reaches down through the plenum, but when it comes into this plenum, I like to be as straight as possible and to have the airspeed there, so when it does hit these places where it's restricted, it can at least have a fighting chance of getting itself through the port. Sometimes a lot of airspeed's worse, depending on how deep the plenum is, but this has a pretty deep plenum. The floor's down pretty far. And the way I'm cutting this back here, so the air is going to be able to disperse itself more. On a smaller intake, if this was like more restricted here, then I wouldn't want as much airspeed. It's because then it would have tendency actually not to go through the runner. It actually try to have a bad signal that way, really. I mean, it would try to disperse and it wouldn't be able to. You need the air to be able to find its way through where it's going, if I can explain it better that way. Sometimes I don't do a very good job of explaining things when I'm doing this. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm not very technical with things. But that's always my theories behind things when I do it. I like the airspeed to be there when I can have it there. But sometimes it will fight against you. If you have an intake that's too small or restricted down in here, then it's not going to help you out. So I hope that's a little bit of information you guys might be able to use when you're doing your setup. On a smaller intake, if you're using like a stock Ford intake, then they're pretty restrictive down in there. So the more you do up top, the more volume you're going to have. So it's going to be even worse when it hits the floor and tries to disperse, when the air tries to move to go to the runners. It makes it even harder. So always remember that, fellas. The more restrictive the area you have down here, the less you want to really do up here in the plenum. The only reason I'm doing so much in here is because I'm planning on making this. I usually cut this way back up here too. Even though you see me cut the plenum down here, I really put a nice opening here. I take the shape and I reshape it here. Like when I get finished with this, fellas, I'll have this cut back more equal across. It'll be like more like if you're looking into a tunnel, like if you're going through a tunnel on the turnpike. Hate to explain it that way, but I don't like to see air have to move down, try to go in. It has a tendency to go in where it's high, and then it's trying to move in where it's low. And to me, that's just, it's making the air move way too much. So I'd rather just open this way up here, have it be consistent. And that's just how I do my own things, fellas. You guys might have a different way of wanting to do it, but this is how I do it, guys. And so far I've seen pretty good power out of certain combinations that we have. So, but anyway, I thought I'd run this by you again. I don't want it to be all stealth information on here, but this has to do with all dual planes. And that's why I wanted to do another segment on this. So if you guys have any questions, just put it down in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer them best I can for you. Alright, look guys, I appreciate you stopping in to check me out. Y'all have a good night now. Take care.